Maria? Maria Santos. The deep voice made Maria freeze in the middle of the Biltmore Hotel ballroom in Los Angeles. She was adjusting the final details of the buffet when she heard her name, pronounced with that familiar intonation that had haunted her for 8 years. "Hi, Michael." She turned slowly, trying to maintain her professional composure. "Congratulations on your engagement." Michael Almeida was even more handsome than she remembered. His impeccable suit highlighted his confident posture, but his green eyes were still the same, those she knew so well. "You look beautiful," he murmured, ignoring the congratulations. "I didn't know you had a catering company. A lot has changed." In 8 years, Maria crossed her arms, creating an invisible barrier between them. "I need to get back to work. Your guests are waiting." "Maria, wait. Mom, where do you want us to put the desserts?" An childish voice cut through the attention. 2 identical 7-year-old boys approached, carrying trays of sweets. Michael felt the air escape his lungs. The boys had his eyes, exactly his green eyes. The same face shape, the same unruly hair that never stayed in place. "Put them over there, on the corner table, my loves," Maria said quickly, trying to usher the boys away. "David, Daniel, go help Aunt Catherine in the kitchen, okay?" The 2 ran in the direction she indicated. Michael stood paralyzed. "Maria, no." She shook her head. "Not here, not today. They're my sons." Maria spoke softly but firmly. "You made your choice 8 years ago. I didn't know." "Of course you didn't. You were too busy building your perfect life." She gestured to the crowded ballroom filled with elegant people. "And you succeeded. Congratulations." Michael ran a hand through his hair, a gesture Maria knew well. He always did that when he was nervous. "Darling, there you are." A tall, elegant woman approached, slipping her arm through Michael's. "I've been looking all over for you. The guests want to make a toast." Sofia Fernandez was everything Maria wasn't. Sophisticated, well-dressed, with that confidence that only money can buy. She looked at Maria with polite indifference. "This is the head of the catering company," Michael explained, his voice tense. "Oh, lovely to meet you," Sofia smiled mechanically. "Everything is delicious. Michael, come on. Dad wants to introduce you to the senator." "I'll be right there." Michael didn't take his eyes off Maria. "Just one more minute." "You don't need to," Maria interrupted. "We've said all we needed to say. Have a good party." She walked away quickly, but Michael followed her with his gaze. He saw her approach the boys, tenderly stroke one of their heads, and watch as the 3 of them briefly hugged before getting back to work. "Michael," Sofia called him impatiently. "Are you coming or not?" He shook his head, trying to snap back to reality. "Sorry, let's go." For the rest of the evening, Michael tried to focus on the greetings, the toasts, the wedding plans, but his eyes kept searching for Maria across the ballroom, watching how she efficiently managed her team, how she smiled at the waiters, how she checked every detail, and most importantly, how the 2 boys adored her. "You're acting strange today," Sofia commented, when they were alone for a moment. "Did something happen?" "No, everything's fine." Michael forced a smile. "Just tired." "Well, after the wedding, you can rest. I've already thought about the honeymoon. How about France or Italy?" Michael nodded in agreement, but his mind was elsewhere. He was calculating dates, remembering when he left for New York City, when he last saw Maria 8 years ago, and the boys were 7 years old. As the party was winding down, he looked for Maria again. He found her supervising the cleanup, the boys asleep in nearby chairs. "Maria, they're exhausted," she said without looking at him. "It's hard work for kids. I need to talk to you." "We have nothing to talk about." "You know we do." Michael approached. "They're my sons, aren't they?" Maria finally faced him. "Do you really want to have this conversation here, now, on the day of your engagement? I need to know. What do you need to know? If they're yours, if I tried to find you, if I spent months waiting for a call," her voice trembled slightly, "or if I raised 2 boys alone while you were building your empire." Michael didn't answer. He couldn't. "Go, Michael. Go back to your fiancée, to your perfect life. Leave us alone." Maria picked up David and gently woke Daniel. "Come on, my love, let's go home." Michael stood still, watching his unknown family disappear through the hotel door. "The search for answers. I need all the information on Maria Santos. Everything you can find." Charles Dantas, the private investigator, jotted the name on his pad. "Anything specific? Children, I want to know about." Her children. Michael was in his office at 7 a.m., 2 weeks after the engagement. He hadn't been able to sleep properly since that night. "Understood. How much time do I have?" "As soon as possible." Michael spent the following days trying to maintain normalcy, meetings with investors, lunches with Sophia, wedding discussions. But his mind was always elsewhere. "You've been very distracted," Sophia commented during dinner at Per Se. "Are you worried about something at the company? Just some new projects?" Michael poked at his food without appetite. "Nothing much." "Good, because I need your opinion on the flowers. I'm thinking white roses or orchids for the church decoration. Whatever." Sophia paused. "Whatever, Michael. It's our wedding." "Sorry, orchids are great. You're not even listening to me." She sighed. "Look, if something's bothering you, you can tell me." Michael looked at her. Sophia was beautiful, intelligent, from a good family. She was everything he thought he wanted. But when he tried to imagine the next 50 years by her side, he felt a strange emptiness. "Everything's fine," he lied. 3 days later, Charles called. "I have the information you requested. Can I stop by your office?" Michael cancelled all afternoon meetings. Maria Santos, 30 years old, graduated in gastronomy from the Culinary Institute of America. Charles read from his notes. Owner of the company Maria's Flavors for 5 years. She has an industrial kitchen in Echo Park and caters events for Los Angeles high society. And the children, David Santos and Daniel Santos, twins, 7 years old, born on March 15, 2018. Michael quickly did the math. Maria got pregnant in June 2017. He left for New York City in September 2017. Registered father. Father's name is not on the birth certificate. Michael leaned back in his chair. Anything else? She lives in an apartment in Echo Park. The boys attend Sunset Elementary. A very simple but organized life. She has an excellent reputation in the market, pays on time, employees like her. Thank you, Charles. May I ask your interest? Michael didn't answer. After the investigator left, he remained alone in his office, looking out the window at the Los Angeles skyline. He remembered the day he broke up with Maria 8 years ago. She was crying, begging him not to leave. It's just 1 year, Michael. Can't you do the MBA here? Maria, this is the chance of my life. The scholarship in New York City, the international program. When I come back, we can... Can what? Will you wait for me? Will you come back to me? He hadn't answered. Not because he didn't want to, but because he knew New York City was just the beginning. He had bigger plans, dreams that didn't fit into the simple life he had with Maria. "You'll find someone better," he had said. "I don't want someone better. I want you," but he went anyway. And when he arrived in New York City, he was so engrossed in classes, projects, and his new life that he didn't call her for weeks. When he finally tried, the number no longer worked. He tried looking for her on Facebook, but she had deleted her account. He asked mutual friends, but no one knew anything. After a few months, he stopped looking. He thought it was better that way, a clean break. Now, he discovered she had tried to talk to him, that she was pregnant, that she had raised 2 children alone. Michael picked up his phone and typed Maria's flavors into Google. He found the company's website, some photos of events, an interview Maria gave to a gastronomy magazine. In the photo, she was smiling, holding an elaborate dish. She was more mature, more confident, but still the Maria he knew. "I started the company when my children were babies," she said in the interview. "It was difficult at first. I worked from home, did everything alone, but I always knew I wanted to give them a better life." Michael closed his laptop and decided he needed to see her again. The following Saturday, he went to the Grand Central Market. He had seen on the company's Instagram that Maria would be there choosing ingredients for an event. He found her at the fish store, negotiating with the seller. 2 kilograms of very fresh salmon, she was saying. "It's for an important dinner tonight, Maria." She turned and saw him. Her face immediately shut down. "What do you want, Michael? To talk?" "Have nothing to talk about." "Yes, we do. You know we do." The vendor looked curiously at the 2 of them. Maria paid for the fish and walked away, Michael following her. "Stop following me. They're my sons." Maria stopped abruptly in the middle of the aisle. "Now they're your sons. Where were you when I found out I was pregnant? Where were you when they were born? When they had fevers? When they learned to walk? When they started talking? I didn't know." "Of course you didn't. You changed your number when you went to New York City. When I finally got your new contact, you already had a new life, posting photos of parties, trips, other women." She took a deep breath. "I decided I wasn't going to beg for scraps of your attention." "Maria, let me explain." "Explain what?" "That you abandoned me. That you chose your career." "I already knew that." She shook her head. "I raised 2 wonderful boys without you. They don't need a father who only shows up when it's convenient. It's not like that." "Yes, it is. You have a fiancé, an organized life. Why do you want to complicate everything now?" Michael didn't know what to say. Maria picked up her purchases and walked away. "Leave us alone, Michael. For everyone's sake." He stood still, watching her disappear among the people in the market. But he knew he couldn't let it go. Not now that he knew the truth. "I want a DNA test." Maria almost dropped her coffee cup. She was in the company's industrial kitchen, preparing the menu for an event, when Michael appeared. "How did you get in?" "Here. I told your employee it was about a quote." Michael closed the door behind him. "Maria, I need to be sure." "Sure of what? Do you think I'd lie about something like this?" "It's not that. I just need to know officially." Maria put down the knife she was using to cut vegetables. "You know what impresses me most? You disappear for 8 years, and now you want to come in here making demands. It's not a demand, it's my right. Right." Maria laughed without humor. "You gave up any right the day you left. I didn't know you were pregnant, Because you didn't want to know. You changed your number, vanished. What was I supposed to do? Hire a detective to find you? Michael ran a hand through his hair. He had rehearsed this conversation 1,000 times, but in practice, it was much harder. Maria, I know I made mistakes. But now that I know about the boys, I want to do the right thing. The right thing would have been to stay 8 years ago. I can't go back in time, but I can be present now. You're getting married in 2 months. Is that my problem? Maria stared at him. No, it's not. Because if you want to be part of my children's lives, I need to know what kind of man you are. And so far, I've only seen someone who abandons people when things get tough. Michael took a deep breath. If you don't agree to the test amicably, I'll have to go to court. Are you threatening me? I'm saying I have rights. Maria was silent for a long moment. Then she sighed. All right, but there are conditions. What are they? You don't go near the boys until the results come out. And after that, if it's positive, we'll talk about how it's going to be, but on my terms. Is that okay? A week later, Michael was at the lab, more nervous than he had ever been in his life. The test was simple, just a saliva sample, but it represented a definitive change in everything. Maria arrived with the twins a few minutes later. David and Daniel were curious, asking questions about the test their mother said they needed to do. Is it like when we go to the doctor? Daniel asked. More or less, my love. They'll just swab your mouth. Michael watched them in silence. David was quieter, staying close to Maria the whole time. Daniel was livelier, looking around with curiosity. When their names were called, Maria held the boys' hands. You'll be fine, it's quick. Michael wanted to say something, but Maria didn't look at him once during the entire process. The results would be out in a week. Michael spent the 7 longest days of his life trying to focus on work and wedding preparations. Sophia was increasingly excited, showing photos of the dress, talking about the honeymoon, organizing the last details. I thought about having a party just for the ladies before the wedding, she said during dinner. How about at the end of the month? Great, Michael replied automatically. You're not even listening to me. Sorry, I'm thinking about a new project. Michael, you've been very strange lately. Are you sure everything's okay? He looked at her. Sophia was an intelligent woman. Sooner or later, she would figure out what was happening. Yes, it's just work. Stress. On Friday, the lab called. The results were ready. Michael arrived there before Maria. He received the sealed envelope, but didn't have the courage to open it alone. He waited for her to arrive. Maria entered the lab with a tense face. They're here. I just picked them up. Michael showed the envelope. Do you want me to open it? Just open it. He tore the seal with trembling hands. He read the result in silence first, and then Maria asked, 99.9% compatibility. Michael looked up at her. There, my sons. Maria leaned against the wall. Even knowing the result beforehand, hearing it officially was different. There, now you know. She turned to leave. Maria, wait. What do you want, Michael? I want to truly get to know my sons. They don't know you. To them, you're just a stranger. Then let me change that. Maria studied him for a long moment. Once a week, 2 hours, and I'll be present. Is that okay? And Michael, if you hurt them, if you build up expectations and then disappear again, I swear you'll never see them again. I won't hurt anyone. You'd better not, because now they have a mother who protects them. She left the lab, leaving Michael alone with the paper in his hands. For the first time in 8 years, he was officially a father. Now he just needed to figure out how to be one. Asterisk, I know about the boys. Michael froze with his fork in the air. Sophia was sitting on the other side of the restaurant table with a glacial expression he'd never seen before. What are you talking about? Don't treat me like an idiot, Michael. She opened her purse and pulled out some photos. You, the head chef, from our engagement party and to children at Griffith Park. You look pretty intimate for strangers. Michael looked at the photos. They showed him pushing Daniel on the swing while David and Maria watched, laughing. It had been last Saturday, his third encounter with the boys. Sophia, they're your sons, aren't they? She calmly put the photos away. The resemblance is obvious. Michael didn't answer. There was no point in lying. How long have you known? A few weeks. And you didn't think it was necessary to tell me? It wasn't a question. I was trying to understand the situation first. Understand what you have 2 children with your ex-girlfriend. Seems pretty clear to me. The waiter approached to ask if they wanted dessert. Sophia dismissed him with a gesture. What's the plan now? She asked when they were alone. What plan, Michael? I wasn't born yesterday. You obviously want to be their father. The question is, how does this affect our marriage? Michael studied her. Sophia was too calm, too controlled. Aren't you angry? I'm disappointed, but not surprised. She took a sip of wine. Men always have secrets from the past. The question is how to deal with them. And how do you want to deal with them? Simple. You assume financial responsibility for the children, but keep your distance. Sporadic visits, birthday gifts, those kinds of things. Nothing that interferes with our life. Michael couldn't believe what he heard. Are you talking about my sons? I'm talking about our reality. Do you think I'm going to accept your bastards into our family? Don't call them that. Asterisk, that's what they are, Michael. Children born out of wedlock. Sophia leaned forward. Look, asterisk, I understand you feel obligated to help, but we have a reputation to maintain, a social life. We can't just incorporate 2 kids out of nowhere. They're my children, Sophia, and I'm going to be your wife, who takes priority. Michael was silent. In the past few weeks, he had spent the best moments of his adult life with David and Daniel. He taught Daniel how to play video games, helped David with his math homework, watched them play soccer at school. They were amazing kids, well-behaved, smart, funny, and clearly in need of a father figure. I need to think. There's not much to think about. Sophia finished her wine. It's either this or nothing. You choose. That night, Michael couldn't sleep. He stood on the balcony of his apartment, looking out at Los Angeles, thinking about the conversation with Sophia. The following Saturday, he went to meet Maria and the boys as they had agreed. They went to the mall, had lunch at McDonald's, watched a movie. Simple things Michael had never done. You're quiet today, Maria commented as the boys played at the park. Just tired. Asterisk, Michael, can I ask you something? Sure. What do you really want with them, I mean? Michael watched David and Daniel on the swings. I want to be their father and your fiancé. How does she feel about that? Michael didn't answer immediately. She doesn't know, does she? Maria sighed. Michael, you can't live a double life forever. I know. The boys are getting attached to you. If you're not sure what you want, it's best to stop now, I'm sure. Then tell her. That night, Michael had dinner with his parents. Anthony and Catherine. They still didn't know about their grandchildren. "How are the wedding preparations going?" Catherine asked. "Well, Sophia's handling everything. She's an organized girl," Anthony said. "She'll make a good wife." Michael took a deep breath. "Dad, Mum, I need to tell you something." He told them everything. The reunion with Maria, the children, the DNA test. His parents listened in silence. "Oh my God, Michael," Catherine murmured. "Grandchildren. I have grandchildren. What are they like?" "More practical," Anthony asked. "They're perfect, smart, well-behaved. Maria did an incredible job." "And Sophia?" Catherine asked. "She wants me to stay away from them." "Well," Anthony said after a moment, "she has the right not to want stepchildren. But they're my children, and she's going to be your wife," Catherine said softly. "Michael, you need to decide what's most important." On Sunday, Michael was in his apartment when the doorbell rang. It was his doorman. "Mr. Michael, there's a lady downstairs with 2 children. Says her name is Maria. Can I send her up?" A few minutes later, Maria knocked on the door with David and Daniel beside her. "Is something wrong?" Michael asked, concerned. "Yes, something is wrong." Maria walked into the apartment, the boys exploring everything with curiosity. "I had a visit this morning, 2 lawyers. Lawyers from your fiancé's family, with a very interesting proposal." Maria pulled some papers from her bag. "They want to pay me to disappear with the kids, move out of town, never look for you again." Michael took the documents. It was an offer of $200,000 in exchange for Maria and the children's permanent disappearance. "This is insane." "Yes, but that's not the most interesting part." Maria stared at him. "The interesting part is that if I don't accept, they'll challenge my parental fitness in court. They'll claim I'm a bad influence on the children for having gotten involved with an engaged man." Michael crumpled the papers. "Sophia can't do that." "Yes, she can, and she will." Maria took the boy's hands. "So I came here for you to decide, once and for all. Either you stay with your perfect fiancé and forget we exist, or you truly own up to wanting to be your children's father, Michael. There's no middle ground. Because I'm not going to live under threat for the rest of my life, and I'm not going to let my children go through that." "Daddy, why is Mummy sad?" Daniel asked, calling Michael Daddy for the first time. Michael knelt down in front of the boy. "Mummy isn't sad, champ. She's just worried." "Why?" Michael looked at Maria, then at David and Daniel. "About nothing you need to worry about." After Maria and the boys left, Michael called Sophia. "I need to talk to you right now. You've completely lost your mind." Sophia was in her living room, still in her bathrobe, holding a cup of coffee. It was 8 a.m. on a Monday, and Michael had shown up unannounced. "Make your lawyers back off now. I don't know what you're talking about. Sophia, enough of this. You threatened Maria and my children. I offered a civilized solution to a problem." She sat down calmly. $200,000 is a generous sum. You can't buy people. Yes, I can, and it usually works. Sophia sipped her coffee unhurriedly. "But apparently your ex-girlfriend has higher aspirations. She doesn't want money. She wants to protect her children. Our children, isn't that why they're ours now?" Sophia chuckled. "Michael, you're being ridiculous. You've known these kids for, what, a month? And you already want to rearrange your entire life for them. They're my children. Biologically, maybe, but you're not their father. A father is someone who raises them, who's present. You're just a sperm donor who showed up 8 years later." Michael felt a cold rage rise in his chest. Don't talk about my children like that. I'll talk however I want, because you have to choose. Sophia stood up. It's either them or me. There's no middle ground. Why does it have to be this way? Because I'm not going to share my husband with his ex-girlfriend and 2 brats. Do you think I'll accept them at our wedding, at our parties? Am I going to pretend they're my family? You don't need to pretend anything. You just need to respect that they exist. I respect. That's why I offered a solution. They stay away. You pay child support. Everyone's happy. I won't be happy. Sophia paused, studying his face. Are you in love with her again? What? With Maria? Do you still want her? Michael didn't answer immediately. In the past few weeks, he had realized how good he felt in Maria's company, how they laughed together when the boys played a prank, how she looked at him when he helped with their homework. This has nothing to do with Maria. It has everything to do with it. Sophia crossed her arms. Do you think I don't notice? You barely touch me lately. You barely talk to me. You're always thinking somewhere else. Sophia, do you know what I think? You want to get back the life you lost 8 years ago. The poor girl, the little kids, the humble family. You're having a midlife crisis at 32. It's not that. Yes, it is. You're idealizing a situation that in practice will be hell. Sophia approached him. Michael, think with your head. Do you really want to change our life for what? For 2 brats you don't even know well. Michael looked around Sophia's apartment. Everything was perfect, expensive, impeccable. Like his life, like the wedding was going to be. I can't abandon my children. No one is asking you to abandon them just to keep your priorities straight. What if I can't? Sophia stared at him for a long moment. Then you'll lose the best thing that ever happened to you. Michael left Sophia's apartment more confused than ever. He spent the day at the office trying to work, but couldn't concentrate. On Wednesday, Maria called. The boys want to know if you're coming to their soccer game on Saturday. Of course I am. Maria, can I ask you something? You can. Did you tell your fiancé about the visits? I did. And she wasn't very happy about it. Maria was silent for a moment. Look, I know it's complicated, but the boys are getting used to you. Yesterday, Daniel asked me if you were going to live with us. What did you tell him? That you have your own life. But he insisted. He wanted to know why you can't be our real father. Michael felt his heart ache. Maria, you don't need to explain anything to me, but you do need to explain it to him. Because if you don't intend to be truly present, it's better to stop now. I want to be present. Then it's time to decide how. On Saturday, Michael went to the boys' game. It was on a small field in Echo Park, with other families cheering in the stands. David played goalie. Daniel was a forward. Both stood out on the team. They're good, Michael commented to Maria. Daniel wants to be a professional soccer player. David prefers to cook, like me. You teach them to cook. Of course. David already knows how to make pasta and brownies by himself. Michael watched the other families around him. Fathers and mothers together, cheering on their children. Couples who had built something real, solid. Maria, can I ask you something? You can. Have you thought about trying again, the 2 of us? Maria looked at him in surprise. Michael, I know I made mistakes. I know I hurt you, but maybe we could, ... You're getting married in 3 weeks. What if I didn't get married? Are you serious? I am. Maria sighed. Michael, 8 years is a long time. We're not the same people anymore, but we still like each other. Liking isn't enough. You have one life, I have another. You're rich, I'm middle class. You have a high society fiancé. I'm a chef who works weekends. None of that matters. Asterisk, yes, it does. Because when the euphoria of discovering you're a father wears off, you'll remember why you left me the first time. The referee blew the whistle for the end of the game. The boys' team had won 3-1 with 2 goals from Daniel. Daddy, did you see my goals? Daniel ran towards Michael. Yes, champ, you played great. And David didn't let in any goals. You both defended very well. On the way home, the boys were in the back seat of Michael's car, talking excitedly about the game. Maria was in the passenger seat, silent. Daddy, are you going to have dinner with us today? David asked. Michael looked at Maria. She nodded almost imperceptibly. Not today, son, but I'll see you next week, okay? When they arrived at Maria's building, the boys got out and ran to the doorman to show him the medals they had won. Michael, Maria said before getting out of the car, decide what you want now, because they deserve to have certainty. I know what I want. Then stop delaying and do something about it. She got out of the car and took the boys' hands. Michael stood still, watching his family go up to the apartment. On Monday, 2 weeks before the wedding. Michael, you have to try on your suit today. The tailor is coming at 3. Sophia was in her apartment kitchen, organizing the schedule for the last week before the wedding. Confirmed invitations, church decorations, party timeline. Okay, Michael replied without looking at her. He was drinking coffee and looking at his phone, viewing the photos he had taken of the boys' game on Saturday. And tomorrow we have the rehearsal dinner with the bridesmaids and groomsmen. Did you confer with Robert? I confirmed. Michael, are you listening to me? He looked up. Yes, I am. No, you're not. You've been spaced out for weeks. Sophia sat beside him. Look, I know this whole thing with the kids has confused you, but you need to focus on our wedding. I'm focused. No, you're not. It's like you're being forced to marry me. Michael didn't respond. In recent days, every time he thought about the ceremony, he felt a tightness in his chest. You know what I think. You need a vacation. After the wedding, we'll travel to Europe, get away from all this for a while. What about the kids? The kids will be fine. Maria has taken care of them for 8 years. She can take care of them for a few more weeks. Michael looked at her intently. Sophia, they're my children. Yes, they are, and you'll be a good father in your own way, but that doesn't mean you have to turn your life upside down. That afternoon, Michael went to try on his suit. He stood in front of the mirror, looking at his reflection. The perfect groom for the perfect wedding. It looks great, Mr. Michael, the tailor said. I just need to adjust the waist a little. Michael nodded, but his mind was far away. He was thinking about his conversation with Daniel after the game, when the boy asked if he was going to live with them after the auntie stopped being mad. What auntie? Michael had asked. The auntie who doesn't like you coming to see us. Mum said she gets mad when you play with us. Michael felt a pang in his chest. The children knew about Sophia. They knew there was someone preventing him from being their father completely. Mr. Michael, the tailor called him. Are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. You can finish up. On Thursday, 3 days before the wedding, Michael received an unexpected call. Michael, it's Catherine, your mother. Hi, Mom, what a surprise. Son, your father and I need to talk to you. Can you come home today? Is something wrong? Please come. Michael arrived at his parents' house late in the afternoon. Catherine was nervous, Anthony serious. "What's going on? Sit down, son." Catherine pointed to the sofa. "We met our grandchildren." Michael froze. "What do you mean?" "We went to their school today, waited at dismissal until we saw them," Anthony said, his voice cracking. "Michael, they're beautiful. You couldn't do that." "Yes, we could. They're our grandchildren." Catherine had tears in her eyes. "Daniel is identical to you when you were a child. And David has your eyes, but his mother's demeanor." "We talked to them," Anthony continued. "They asked who we were. We said we were a friend's voice. They're well-behaved, smart. And Maria was there too. A beautiful girl, Michael. And it's clear she loves those children more than her own life." Catherine approached her son. "Michael, how can you marry Sophia knowing you have a family waiting for you? It's not that simple." "Yes, it is." Anthony stood up. "Son, your mother and I built our life together. We went through difficulties, but we were always a real family. What you have with Sophia isn't family, it's a partnership. Sophia is a good person. For some things, maybe, but not to be the mother of your children." Catherine took his hands. "Michael, do you think she loved David and Daniel as they deserve?" Michael couldn't answer. "And you?" Anthony asked. "Do you love Sophia as you loved Maria?" "Son, answer." Michael was silent for a long moment. "No," he finally admitted. "I don't love her." On Friday, the eve of the wedding, Michael couldn't sleep. He stood on the balcony of his apartment all night, thinking. In the morning, he made a decision. He got in his car and drove to Maria's house. It was 7 a.m. The boys were probably still asleep. He rang the doorbell. Maria opened it in her pajamas, looking sleepy. "Michael, what are you doing here?" "I need to talk to you now." "It's 7 in the morning." "It's important." Maria sighed and let him in. "The boys are still asleep." "I know." Michael pulled an envelope from his backpack. "I brought something for you." "What is this?" "The deed to your industrial kitchen building. It's yours now." Maria opened the envelope in disbelief. "Michael, this is worth a fortune. It's for you and the boys, no matter what happens between us." "I can't accept it." "Yes, you can. It's the least I can do after 8 years of absence." Maria sat on the sofa, still looking at the papers. "Why are you doing this?" "Because I fell in love with our children. And because I never stopped loving you." "Maria, I'm going to cancel the wedding." Maria looked up, surprised. "What?" "I can't marry Sophia. I don't love her, and I can't live pretending that you don't exist." "Are you sure? It's a huge step." "I'm sure. The only thing I'm not sure about is if you'd give me a second chance." Maria was silent for a long moment. "Michael, 8 years is a long time. A lot has changed." "I know, but maybe we can build something new, slowly, the right way this time. And if it doesn't work, the kids will suffer. It will work, because now I know what's truly important." At that moment, Daniel appeared, in the living room in his pajamas, rubbing his eyes. "Daddy, did you come for breakfast with us?" Michael looked at Maria, then at his son. "Yes, champ, if Mummy allows it." Daniel ran to hug Michael. "Mummy, can Daddy stay forever?" Maria smiled for the first time since Michael arrived. "We'll see. My love, we'll talk about it." David appeared in the living room too, still sleepy. "Is Daddy going to live with us?" "Maybe," Maria replied, looking at Michael. "If he promises never to leave again." "I promise," Michael said, kneeling down to the boy's height. "I promise I'll never abandon you again." The two boys threw themselves into his arms. Michael hugged them tightly, feeling like he was finally in the right place. "What about the wedding?" Maria asked. "I'm going to talk to Sophia now. I can't marry her knowing I love someone else. She's going to be furious." "Yes, but it's the right thing to do." Michael stood up and grabbed his phone. "Speaking of which, I need to make a call." He dialed Sophia's number. "Hey honey, excited for tomorrow?" "Sophia, there won't be a wedding." Silence on the other end. "What do you mean there won't be a wedding?" "Can't marry you. I'm sorry." "Michael, are you kidding me?" "I'm not. I love Maria and my children. I can't pretend I don't. You've completely lost your mind." "Maybe, but for the first time in years, I know exactly what I want." Michael hung up the phone and looked at Maria. "There, now I'm officially a free man." Maria shook her head, but she was smiling. "You're crazy, crazy about you all." Daniel tugged on his hand. "Daddy, are you going to have dinner with us every day now?" "Yes, son, every day." 6 months later, Michael woke up to Daniel jumping on the bed. "Daddy, Daddy, today's David's birthday." Michael opened his eyes and saw Maria at the bedroom door, holding a tray with breakfast and smiling at the scene. "Good morning, family," she said, entering the room they now shared in their Echo Park apartment. Michael sat up in bed and pulled Daniel into a hug. "Good morning, champ. Where's the birthday boy?" "He's in the kitchen making pancakes with Grandma, Catherine." In the past few months, Michael's life had completely changed. After cancelling the wedding, causing the biggest social scandal in Los Angeles in years, he sold his Beverly Hills apartment and moved closer to Maria and the boys. The adjustment wasn't easy. Sophia didn't accept the end of the engagement without a fight. She threatened lawsuits, spread rumors about Michael having lost his sanity, and even tried to convince his parents to commit him to a clinic. She called again yesterday, Maria said, handing Michael a cup of coffee. What did she want? The same thing as always, for you to come to your senses and stop playing family. Michael shook his head. "I'm going to have to change my number." "You don't need to." I told her that if she called again, I'd file a police report for harassment. And she stopped, ... for now. Daniel ran off to the kitchen, shouting that he wanted to help make pancakes. Michael pulled Maria close. "Good morning, Mrs. Smith." "I'm not Mrs. Smith yet," she chuckled. "And I might never be if you keep letting your mother-in-law cook every meal. My mom loves to cook for her grandchildren. Your mom loves to spoil the grandchildren. Yesterday, they only had brownies for dinner." Michael laughed and kissed Maria. In the past few months, they had slowly, carefully rebuilt their relationship. It wasn't easy. There were many old hurts, many insecurities. "Sometimes I still can't believe you chose us," Maria said, resting her head on his shoulder. "Why did you give up so much? The rich life, the perfect wife, the social standing." "I didn't give up anything important. I gained a family." "Really, you don't miss anything?" Michael thought for a moment. After the cancelled wedding scandal, he lost some conservative clients, had to deal with gossip, judgmental stares, mean comments. But he also discovered who his true friends were, and, most importantly, he discovered what truly mattered in life. "You know what I miss," he said. "What?" "That dead silence I used to have in my Beverly Hills apartment. I really miss not having anyone screaming daddy early in the morning." Maria laughed. "Liar. And I miss the superficial conversations about the weather and which restaurant to frequent." They were so important to me. And most importantly, Maria looked at him. I miss not knowing what true love is. Maria kissed him again. I love you, Michael Smith. I love you too, Maria Santos. In the kitchen, they found David concentrating on making pancakes while Catherine supervised. Daniel was sitting on the counter eating raw batter. Happy birthday, son, Michael said, hugging David. Thanks, Daddy. Look how they turned out, David proudly showed off the perfectly round pancakes. They look beautiful. You're a born chef. Grandma said I can take the kids' cooking class during vacation. Of course you can. Catherine approached Michael. Good morning, son. How did you sleep? Well, Mum, thanks for coming early to help. I'm the one who's grateful. You gave me the best grandchildren in the world. Anthony arrived soon after, bringing gifts for David. The past few months had been a revelation for the grandparents, who had fallen completely in love with their grandchildren. Where's the birthday boy? Anthony shouted from the door. Grandpa. The two boys ran to hug him. I brought a surprise for you, David. Anthony opened a large box. Inside was a complete mini chef kit, aprons, hats, child-sized utensils. Now you can cook, just like Mummy, Anthony said. David was radiant. Can I use it now? Of course, honey, Maria said. But first, let's have breakfast. After breakfast, they went to the park for the party. Michael had rented a space with a barbecue and invited some of Maria's friends and the boys' classmates. Daddy, are you going to play soccer with us afterward? Daniel asked. Of course, but I'll go easy on you. You're the one who'll need us to go easy on you, David said, making everyone laugh. During the party, Michael watched his family, Maria organizing the children's games, laughing with the other mothers, David sharing the cake with all his friends, Daniel trying to teach the girls soccer tricks, his parents chatting animatedly with the guests, proud of their grandchildren. Charles, his best friend, approached. So, how's the family man life? Couldn't be better. Seriously, you don't miss the single life. Michael watched Daniel teaching a girl to kick the ball while Maria cheered her on, and David handing out brownies he had made himself. Charles, do you know the feeling of waking up every day knowing exactly why you're alive? Charles shook his head. No, then you can't understand. On the way home, the boys slept in the car, exhausted from the party. Michael carried Daniel, Maria carried David. It was a perfect day, Maria said, putting David to bed. It really was. After they put the children to bed, they sat on the living room sofa. Maria, can I ask you something? Sure. Did you really forgive me for leaving 8 years ago? Maria thought for a moment. You know, I spent a lot of time angry with you, especially in the first few years, when I was alone with 2 babies, no money, no help. I'm so sorry, ... Let me finish. She took his hand. But today I understand that if you hadn't left, maybe we never would have matured enough to have what we have today. How so? You were very immature at 24. So was I, if we had stayed together back then, out of obligation. Maybe it wouldn't have worked out, you think, I'm sure. The Michael of today is very different from the one 8 years ago. More mature, more focused, more human. And me, I learned to be strong on my own. I learned to raise my children, to run my business, not to depend on anyone. That made me a better person. Michael reflected on it. So you're saying it was good that I left? I'm saying that everything happened as it was meant to happen. We found each other at the right time. And now we build the future together. Michael pulled Maria close. I love you so much. I love you too, Michael. Marry me. Maria pulled back to look at him. Seriously, seriously. It doesn't have to be anything big, nothing ostentatious. Just us, the boys, our parents. I want you to be my wife officially. What if it goes wrong? It won't, because this time I know what I'm choosing. Maria smiled. Okay, but on one condition. What? David and Daniel will be the best men. Ring bearers, deal. They kissed on the living room sofa, while outside Los Angeles continued its frantic life. But inside, in that simple apartment in Echo Park, a family had found each other. And this time, forever *, 2 years later, Michael was in the kitchen preparing breakfast when Daniel ran downstairs. Daddy, Mummy's feeling sick again. Michael rushed upstairs to the bedroom and found Maria in the bathroom, feeling nauseous. Nauseous again? He asked, worried. Maria looked up at him with a somewhat embarrassed smile. I think we're going to need to buy a crib. Michael stared at her for a moment, processing the information. You're pregnant, 2 months along, Michael. Picked her up and spun her around in the air. Another boy or girl, can't tell yet. David appeared at the bedroom door. Are we having a baby? Yes, Maria said, laughing. Cool, I'll teach him to cook. And I'll teach him soccer. Daniel shouted from the stairs. Michael hugged Maria tightly. Our family is growing, it really is. Are you happy? I've never been so happy in my life. And it was true. Because sometimes the best choice is the one we make with our hearts, even when our heads say otherwise. Sometimes what seems like an end is just a new beginning. And sometimes, to find our family, we first need to lose ourselves. Asterisk. If this story touched your heart, tell us in the comments which part moved you the most. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who would love this story too. And make sure to come back for the next episode. Because here, every story reminds you that it's never too late for a new beginning.